The untold truth about who George Harrison resented the most. George Harrison, the quiet Beatle. While John Lennon and Paul McCartney lit up the spotlight, George stood in the shadows. Calm, reserved, thoughtful. But behind his silence was a storm brewing, one of frustration, pain, and resentment. You might think George's anger was aimed at a greedy manager, or perhaps even at John or Paul for stealing the show. But the truth, it cuts deeper. Because the person George Harrison clashed with most was right beside him all along. From his early days in Liverpool, George was obsessed with music. At just 14, he got his first guitar. A short bus ride later, he met a kid named Paul McCartney. That chance encounter led him to John Lennon and the formation of a band that would change music forever, the Beatles. But while John and Paul became the golden songwriting duo, George's voice and his songs were often sidelined. His creativity was underestimated, his contributions overlooked, and the tension only grew. As the Beatles evolved, so did George. He brought in new instruments, like the sitar. He infused the music with Eastern spirituality. He explored deeper themes. But still, he was treated like the junior member, the afterthought, and the root of that frustration. Paul McCartney. Paul, ever the perfectionist, was known for controlling every detail in the studio. He frequently told George how to play, what to change, and how to improve his songs. To George, it wasn't collaboration, it was domination. In later interviews, George didn't hold back. He admitted he'd rather work with other musicians than Paul. He even said producer George Martin ruined him as a guitarist, partly because of how stifled he felt under Paul's direction. John Lennon wasn't always easy either. George admired John's genius but felt dismissed and belittled by him at times. Still, it was Paul who stirred the deepest resentment, not through shouting matches or public feuds, but through quiet power struggles behind studio doors. Power struggles George never forgot. Yet, despite the creative conflict, the band stayed together until 1970. And after John's tragic death in 1980, George and Paul found moments of peace. They played music again, shared memories, laughed. But the tension, that deep-seated struggle for respect, never fully disappeared. George Harrison passed away in 2001. But his legacy isn't just in the music he made, it's in the battles he fought to be heard, to be seen, to be taken seriously. So, who did George Harrison resent the most? Not a rival, not a stranger, but the man standing right next to him for years, Paul McCartney. Their friendship was real. Their music is unforgettable. But between the harmonies lived a quiet war, a battle between brilliance and control, respect and rejection. And George, the quiet Beatle, carried that weight longer than anyone knew.